Paralyzed Horse was about to be put down until a 6-year-old girl's shocking discovery changed everything. The sky of Montana stretches endlessly, as blue as a lake reflecting the morning sun. The fresh air carries the fragrance of wild meadows, vast fields stretching to the horizon, where the gentle breeze glides over each blade of grass, creating soft ripples as if whispering ancient tales. Here, amidst the majestic mountain ranges and lush green pine forests, there is a place called Pine Valley Stables, a renowned horse farm where the strongest horses are trained, a place where pride and the spirit of freedom are nurtured through generations. But among all those precious horses, only one name is mentioned with the utmost reverence: Spirit. Spirit is an 8-year-old quarter horse with a strong build, sturdy legs, and a chestnut coat that shines under the sunlight. His deep eyes seem to reflect the entire sky of freedom, as if they contain the very soul of the wild land. Spirit is unlike any other horse on the farm. It is not just an excellent racehorse or a loyal war horse. It is a symbol of freedom, of an indomitable spirit. But above all, Spirit is the best friend of a little girl, Emily. Emily is only 6 years old, but she belongs to this world as if she were born to immerse herself in nature. For her, Pine Valley Staples is not just a farm, it is home. The place where she grew up among the vast fields, where she learned to ride horses before she could read, and where she found her closest friend, Spirit. The friendship between Emily and Spirit is not something that can be forced or trained through exercises in the stable. It is something as natural as breathing, like the sunrise every morning. From the time she was a toddler, Emily was drawn to Spirit, and Spirit felt the same way. It was not an easy horse to tame, but with Emily, things were different. When other trainers hesitated before Spirit's wildness, the girl only needed to extend her hand and it would gently lower its head, allowing Emily to stroke its soft fur. When the little girl smiled, Spirit seemed to understand and wagged its tail excitedly. They don't need words, just a glance is enough to understand each other. The peaceful days passed. Emily and Spirit galloped together across the lush green fields, merging into the winds of freedom. The girl could feel every powerful breath of Spirit as it galloped like the wind, every steady step as it touched the ground. Nothing in this world brings a better feeling than that moment, when they both run together under the vast sky as if nothing could ever separate them. Gosh, God. Emily's family is the soul of Pine Valley Staples. Her father, John Carter, was a tireless man, dedicating his entire life to caring for and training horses. His hands were calloused from work, but his heart was always full of love for these wonderful creatures. He believes that a horse is not just a tool or an asset, it is a free spirit, a friend that humans need to respect. Emily's mother, Sarah Carter, is the farm manager. She is not only skilled at organizing tasks, but also the most dedicated caretaker the horses here have ever had. Sarah believes in the connection between humans and animals, believing that if we treat them with sincerity, they will return loyalty forever. She was the one who taught Emily how to understand the unspoken language of horses, how to look into their eyes and listen to what they couldn't say. The entire Carter family has a common principle. Protecting and caring for horses is the most important thing. They do not see horse training as a mere job, but as a responsibility, a mission. Each horse at Pine Valley Staples is not just an athlete or a war horse. They are souls nurtured with respect and love. But no matter how many horses have come and gone on this farm, Spirit remains unique. It is the horse that no one can tame, except for Emily. Even her father tried to train Spirit, but it never really let anyone ride it except Emily. Between the two of them, there is an invisible bond, a connection that transcends all barriers. But fate always has unexpected challenges. An event is about to happen, something that will test not only the friendship between Emily and Spirit, but also the Carter family's faith in the values they have upheld for many years. And then, amidst the wild fields of Montana, a new story is about to begin, a story of friendship, loyalty, and freedom that cannot be confined. The sun had not yet appeared when thick fog covered the entire Pine Valley Staples Valley. The dewdrops shimmer on each blade of grass, reflecting a hazy light in the chilly morning breeze. The sound of horses neighing echoed throughout the farm, mingling with the clattering of hooves on the damp ground. In that thick fog, Spirit stood tall in the training yard. its sharp eyes gazing into the distance. Its powerful breath emitted white puffs in the cold air. Emily stood beside, her small hand gently patting Spirit's neck, feeling the steadfastness of her beloved friend. "Shall we take a lap together, Spirit?" The girl smiled brightly, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Spirit gently tossed its mane, as if in response. It understands that every morning is the favorite time for both of them, when they are free to run through the vast fields, enjoying each breeze that sweeps through their soft fur. Emily climbed onto Spirit's back, her small but firm hands gripping the reins. But as Spirit took off, something was wrong. Dense fog obscured the view, hiding the cracks in the ground after last night's rain. When Spirit accelerated, a deafening sound rang out, the sound of stones shattering under its hooves. In an instant, Spirit slipped and fell. Emily barely had time to let out a startled scream before being thrown far away. When Emily opened her eyes, her head was still spinning. She felt a slight pain in her arm, but that didn't matter. The only thing she cares about is Spirit. "Spirit!" the girl screamed, struggling to crawl up. In front of her, Spirit lay motionless on the damp ground. Its body trembled, eyes darkened with pain. One of its hind legs was twisted in an unnatural way, and when it tried to stand up, it couldn't. Emily rushed to Spirit, tears streaming down her face as she realized the worst possible thing had happened. It was injured, and very badly. The sound of hurried footsteps echoed as John Carter and the farmhands rushed over. Her father's face showed clear worry, his strong but trembling hands as he bent down to check on Spirit. "We need a veterinarian immediately." His voice was deep but firm. Sarah Carter hugged Emily, trying to comfort her, but Emily couldn't hear anything. The girl only looked at Spirit, feeling the utmost pain as she saw her dearest friend suffering. Just a few hours later, the veterinarian arrived at the farm. The atmosphere in the horse stable became heavier than ever as they examined Spirit. After a series of tests and x-rays, the doctor shook his head, his face solemn. "We have bad news," he said slowly, his voice tinged with sympathy. "Spirit has been paralyzed in the hind legs due to severe spinal cord injury. We fear that it will never be able to run again." That remark was like a knife stabbing straight into Emily's heart. The girl couldn't believe it. Spirit, the strongest, freest horse she had ever known, now imprisoned in its own body? "It can't be," the girl whispered, tears streaming down her face. "Surely there must be a way, right?" But no one answered. In the days that followed, the farm fell into a gloomy atmosphere. No longer the sound of galloping hooves across the fields, no longer the joyful laughter of Emily echoing in the air. Everything is silent, as if everyone is sharing the same pain. Spirit is cared for in a special stall, but it is no longer itself. That once proud horse can now only lie there, its sad eyes looking out. It tried to stand up many times, but each time it fell again because its hind legs no longer had strength. Emily didn't leave Spirit for a minute. The girl sat beside it every day, stroking its soft fur, whispering words of comfort. But deep down in her heart, she was afraid. She fears that Spirit will never be able to run again. She fears that it will lose its joy, that its freedom has been permanently taken away. Emily's parents, although they loved their daughter very much, also have to face the truth. They had witnessed horses with severe injuries, and they knew that the chances of recovery were almost non-existent. "Emily, you need to prepare yourself," Sarah Carter said gently. "We might have to consider another option." Emily was stunned. "What do you mean, Mom?" The girl's voice choked. Sarah couldn't say it out loud, but Emily knows. The girl understood what her mother was implying. They want a free Spirit. The girl couldn't accept that. "No!" Emily shouted, hugging Spirit's neck, tears streaming down her face. "I won't let anyone do that. Spirit cannot give up. I will help it. I will find a way." John Carter sighed, his eyes filled with sorrow. "Emily, I understand how much you love Spirit, but we have to face reality. No one can save it." "That's not right." Emily shook her head, her voice full of determination. "I believe that Spirit can recover. If no one believes it, I will find a way myself." The girl's voice rang out stronger than anything in that dark stable, and that was the moment everything changed. Emily knows that no one else can do this but her. If everyone else gives up hope, she will be the only one who never will. No matter how long it takes, no matter how difficult it is, because Spirit is not just a horse, Spirit is family, and Emily will never give up on her family. The Montana night sky is tranquil, with only the hazy moonlight reflecting off the vast grass fields. The Pine Valley Staples farm was fast asleep, but in a small corner of the stable, Emily was still awake. The little girl sat close to Spirit, her tiny hand gently stroking its soft fur. Spirit's eyes were still bright, but no longer blazing as before. Since the day of the accident, Spirit has been unable to stand up, and that has made Emily's heart ache more than anything else. There is nothing more terrifying than seeing a free spirit bound within its own body. The words of her parents and the veterinarians still echoed in the girl's mind. Spirit may never recover. But Emily refused to believe it. The girl looked at Spirit, and then it was as if a light bulb went off in her mind, an idea that no one had ever thought of. If humans can recover from injuries through physical therapy, why can't Spirit? Emily jumped up, her heart racing with excitement. If paralyzed people can learn to walk again with the help of assistive devices, then why not create something to help Spirit learn to stand up once more? The girl couldn't wait any longer. Emily knew that no one would believe in this idea from the very beginning, but she would do everything to make it a reality. The next morning, Emily ran straight to see her mother, Sarah Carter. "Mom, I have an idea," the girl said with eyes full of determination. Sarah stopped, looking at her daughter with surprise. "What idea do you have, Emily? Spirit can walk again if we help him. If humans can learn to walk again after being injured, why can't horses?" Emily spoke so quickly that she almost choked. Sarah didn't know how to react. She loves her daughter, but this is not a simple matter. "Emily, this is more complicated than you think. Horses are not like humans. This matter." "But has anyone ever tried?" Emily interrupted, her voice trembling. "If no one has tried, how do we know it's impossible?" Sarah looked at her daughter. The determination in Emily's eyes was exactly like the look she had seen in John Carter's, her husband, when he was determined to build Pine Valley Staples from scratch. Finally, she sighed. "All right, but we need help from experts." Emily was overjoyed, but she knew that this was just the first step. The next day, Sarah took Emily to meet the farm's veterinarian, Dr. Michael Rhodes. He is an expert in animal trauma, but even he seemed skeptical when he heard Emily's idea. "Little girl," he said gently, "your idea is wonderful, but horses cannot recover in the way that humans do. Their size and weight are too large. A horse cannot use crutches like a human." Emily refused to back down. "We can make a support device like the special wheelchairs you've seen on TV. If Spirit can stand up with the help of a device, it can gradually regain strength." Dr. Rhodes was silent, then finally nodded slowly. "That idea is not impossible, but we need a team of experts." Sarah smiled. "Then we will find the best people." After many calls and exchanges, a special research team was formed. It is a collaboration of Dr. Rhodes, several mechanical engineers, and an animal physical therapy expert from the University of Montana. They had worked with paralyzed dogs and cats, but had never experimented on a large horse like Spirit. In the following weeks, they began designing a special support frame, a system of straps and wheels that would help Spirit lift her body and practice moving step by step. But nothing is easy. When the first prototype was completed, everyone on the farm was present to watch Spirit's test. Emily stood beside Spirit, gently stroking it, whispering encouragement. "I will be here with you, Spirit. You can do it." The research team carefully attached Spirit to the device. A system of straps was wrapped around its belly, supporting its hindquarters, helping it stand for the first time in weeks. Everyone held their breath. But as soon as Spirit tried to walk, it lost its balance. The equipment is too rigid, not flexible to the horse's movements. Spirit panicked, tried to struggle, and fell down. Dr. Rhodes shook his head. "We need to adjust the design. This is not suitable." In the following weeks, a series of failures occurred. Every time Spirit tried to move, the equipment had a new problem. Too heavy, too stiff, not properly supported. But Emily didn't give up. One late night, Emily sat by her drawing table, deep in thought. The girl recalled how Spirit used to move, how it stomped the ground, how its muscles flexed rhythmically when it ran. "I'm doing it wrong. Spirit doesn't need a wheelchair. It needs something to help it relearn how to move." The next day, Emily told the research team, "We need to change our approach. Don't try to replace Spirit's legs, but help it train on its own to regain strength." The research team agreed, and they began to create a new version, a support frame with air cushions that adjusted the weight, helping Spirit gradually bear its own weight. The next test day, Spirit was lifted again, but this time, when it tried to step, something was different. It doesn't fall. It wobbled a bit, but Emily immediately encouraged, "All right, Spirit, you're doing great. Just one more step." And then Spirit walked away. Step by step, slowly but surely. The whole farm erupted in joy. Everyone clapped. Dr. Rhodes couldn't believe his eyes, and Emily cried tears of joy. Spirit still can't run, but this is the first step to reclaiming its freedom. And Emily was right from the start. The journey is still long, but now nothing is impossible. When Spirit took its first steps in the support frame, the entire farm erupted in joy. But that joy didn't last long. Just a few days later, the problems began to appear. Spirit is still very weak. Even though the support frame helps it stand up, maintaining balance and moving is still a big challenge. There are times when it takes 2 or 3 steps, but as soon as it tries to go further, its legs refuse to cooperate. In an instant, its massive body collapsed to the ground, creating a loud thud that echoed throughout the stable. Emily screamed in fear. The girl rushed over, trying to catch Spirit, but all she could do was watch her beloved friend lie motionless on the ground, breathing heavily in pain. Dr. Rhodes and the research team hurried over. One person checked the equipment, another checked Spirit, but everyone knew there was no technical fault. Spirit simply wasn't strong enough. Emily felt helpless. The girl had hoped so much, had believed that this would be a turning point, that Spirit would progress more and more. But now, seeing Spirit collapse, she feels like the whole world is against her. The failures not only affected Emily, but also worried her family. That evening, when everyone in the house had gathered around the dining table, the atmosphere became more tense than ever. Emily still couldn't eat anything, her mind filled with images of Spirit collapsing. But when the girl was about to leave the table to return to the stable, her father, John Carter, spoke first. "Emily, you need to listen to your father." His voice was deep but serious. "You have done so much for Spirit. Dad is very proud of you, but perhaps it's time you should think about reality." Emily hesitated, her heart beating faster. "What reality is that?" the girl asked, even though she already knew the answer. Sarah Carter, her mother, placed her hand on the table, her face worried. "My dear, you have done everything you could. But horses are not like humans. There are injuries that even modern science cannot heal." Emily felt betrayed. The girl looked at her parents with eyes full of disappointment. "So, do you both want me to give up too?" The girl's voice trembled. John Carter sighed, his eyes revealing a deep conflict. He didn't want to hurt his daughter, but he also didn't want her to sink too deep into something impossible. "No one wants to give up," he said gently, "but you must understand that there are things beyond our control." Emily clenched her fists tightly, tears streaming down her face, but she tried to hold back. "Spirit is not something beyond our capabilities," the girl almost shouted. "Spirit is family." "If it were your child who was hurt, would you two give up so easily?" The whole room fell silent. Sarah opened her mouth to say something, but then fell silent. John Carter looked at his daughter for a long time, but he couldn't find any words to refute her. Emily stood up abruptly, pushing her chair back. "If you two don't believe in Spirit, I will fight on my own," the girl declared, then ran straight outside. Outside, the sky was pitch black, the stars twinkling in the vast Montana sky. Emily ran straight to the stable, her heart pounding. She felt a deep pain, not only because of the failures with Spirit, but also because her family no longer believed in what she was fighting for. She walked in, and Spirit was still there, lying quietly in the pen. When Emily sat down beside it, tears finally rolled down her cheeks. The little girl felt more alone than ever. But then, when she placed her hand on Spirit's fur, it stirred slightly. And when she looked up, Spirit's deep, dark eyes stared at her, as if saying, "You are not alone." Emily took a deep breath. The girl realized something important. This is not just a fight for Spirit. This is a battle for the girl herself, for her family, for the belief that miracles are real. If the girl gives up now, she will not only lose Spirit, but also the most important part of her heart. "We won't stop, Spirit," she whispered, her voice filled with determination. "We will prove them wrong." The girl tightened the reins of Spirit as a promise, And from that moment on, Emily decided that she would fight to the end, no matter what difficulties lay ahead. Winter quietly passes, making way for the first warm rays of spring. The snow began to gradually melt on the fields of Pine Valley Staples, revealing lush green carpets that stretched to the horizon. For many months, Spirit and Emily have been fighting relentlessly, not only against its injury, but also against doubts, fears, and moments of despair. Today, all those efforts are about to be rewarded. Emily stood next to Spirit, her heart full of hope, but also a bit of worry. The girl held the reins tightly, her voice gentle yet resolute. Today, you can do it, Spirit. Spirit took a deep breath, its eyes shining with determination. The support device had been optimally adjusted after numerous trials, helping to reduce the load on its legs without sacrificing flexibility. The team of experts, Emily's family, and the farm workers stood still, holding their breath, waiting for this crucial moment. All eyes were on Spirit. One step. Spirit put strength into its hind legs, slightly staggering but still maintaining balance. Emily felt its muscles quivering beneath the glossy brown skin, like a warrior trying to rise after a long battle. Step 2. Spirit wobbled a bit, but this time it didn't fall. Emily was overjoyed, but she still tried to stay calm, not wanting to distract Spirit. And then, Spirit walks away. Not just the stumbling stuff before, but firm, strong steps. The first steps on the path to reclaiming its own freedom. The entire farm erupted in cheers. Sarah couldn't hold back her tears. John Carter patted an employee on the back, his face breaking into a proud smile. Dr. Rhodes was astonished, even taking off his glasses to make sure he wasn't seeing things. Emily was sobbing, but this time it was out of happiness. The girl hugged Spirit tightly and whispered in its ear, "I know you can do it." Spirit let out a soft whinny, its eyes shining brightly in the morning sunlight. It has won. The miraculous recovery of Spirit is not just a personal victory, it opens a new door for all of Pine Valley Staples. News of Spirit's recovery spread throughout Montana and quickly beyond the state. Veterinarians, horse trainers, and ranchers began flocking to witness this miracle firsthand. A horse that was once diagnosed as unable to walk can now walk on its own legs. That changes everything. From a farm that only specialized in horse training, Pine Valley Staples began transforming into a rehabilitation center for injured horses. Horses from all over are brought here. Those that were injured in races, retired police horses, or even old horses whose owners no longer want to keep. Emily couldn't believe what was happening. The girl had once fought to save Spirit, but now she realizes that she is helping much more than that. One day, while the girl was walking Spirit around the farm, she saw a large truck parked right at the entrance. A silver gray horse was led down, its front leg in a cast. Its owner, an elderly man with a worried expression, stepped forward. "This is Storm," he said, his voice trembling slightly. "I heard about Spirit, and I thought maybe you could help it." Emily looked at Storm, then looked back at Spirit. The girl understood very well the pain that man was feeling, the fear that one day his closest friend might lose everything. The girl smiled, placing her hand on Storm's neck. "We will do everything we can," and so the new journey begins. The recovery of Spirit is not just a miracle, it is a new advancement in veterinary medicine. The research team led by Dr. Rhodes began to delve deeper into recovery technology for large animals. They tested and refined the support devices, developing unprecedented physical therapy methods. A year later, an official medical report was published discussing the success of the Spirit Rehabilitation Project. It not only helped Spirit regain his ability to walk, but also opened up hope for thousands of other horses across America. The story of Pine Valley Staples is no longer just about a horse farm. It is now about a rescue and rehabilitation center where horses find a second chance at life. Emily's family couldn't be prouder. John Carter, who once doubted his daughter's decision, now stands amidst the vast fields, watching each horse practice walking in the support devices they had developed. Sarah Carter, who once worried that her daughter would be disappointed, now stands next to Emily, more proud of her than ever. And Emily knows that Spirit not only changed its own life, it has changed this whole world. One afternoon, while Emily was walking Spirit in the fields, she suddenly let go of the reins. Spirit paused, turned his head to look at the little girl, his eyes shining with a question. You don't need me to hold the reins anymore, Spirit, Emily said softly. You've reclaimed what was rightfully yours. Spirit stood still for a few seconds, then it walked away. No more support equipment, no more reins. It walked on its own feet, under the brilliant sunset. Emily smiled, but tears silently rolled down her cheeks. The little girl did it. They did it. And no matter what, Spirit will always be a symbol of freedom, a friend who never gives up. As time passed, Spirit was no longer just an ordinary horse. The story of its miraculous recovery has spread everywhere, attracting not only horse lovers but also those seeking hope in life. Pine Valley Staples is no longer an ordinary horse farm. It has become a therapy and rehabilitation center, where not only injured horses find a second chance, but also where people find the motivation not to give up. Every day, sick children, disabled individuals, or those who have experienced loss in life come here just to see Spirit, a living testament to perseverance. There was a little girl named Sophie, only 8 years old, but had to undergo a serious leg surgery. When she first met Spirit, the little girl still had to rely on crutches to move, her small face full of worry. Emily led Sophie closer to Spirit and gently said, Spirit also couldn't walk, just like you. But he didn't give up. Sophie placed her hand on Spirit's warm fur, her eyes slightly hesitant, but full of hope. Then the girl smiled for the first time in months, as if she had found a new strength within herself. Spirit is not just a horse. It has become a symbol. 5 years have passed. Emily has now become a young girl full of determination, no longer the 6-year-old girl who only knew how to run around the fields with Spirit. She has officially taken over the Pine Valley Staples farm, continuing to develop the therapy and rehabilitation center that she and her family have built over the years. Spirit is still by her side, strong and free as ever. Even though it no longer runs as fast as before, every time it walks on the grass, its eyes still shine with resilience, a flame that never goes out. Together, Emily and Spirit have helped hundreds of horses regain their ability to move and have helped countless people find hope in their darkest moments. There are moments in life when we think everything has come to an end, that there is no path ahead, that all efforts are in vain. But Spirit taught everyone a lesson. Perseverance, love, and trust can overcome challenges that seem insurmountable. Life is always changing, always bringing new challenges. But as long as we don't give up, as long as we continue to believe in the good, we can overcome everything. And just like Spirit did, sometimes all it takes is a first step, no matter how small, to change a whole life.